Hello guys, welcome to Bank Notes. And in this video, I'm going to talk about my approach for GA for different banking exam. A lot of you asked me about my strategy about GA in my earlier video, so I thought of making a video about my approach for GA. And before starting the video, let me tell you a couple of things. The first, if you like my content, you can subscribe to the channel, and this will motivate me to post more videos. And another thing, I have intentionally, put across in this word strategy and written that word approach because before watching any video, we need to understand what is strategy and what is approach. Okay. Uh, Strategy is a personalized thing, and approach is a thing which I can share with all of you, what you can follow. Okay. So let's first understand what strategy is, because there are hundreds of thousands of videos in the YouTube which talks about different types of strategy. Some people talking about the A strategy, some talking about the B strategy, and this, that, and there are hundreds of thousands of videos out there. And mostly what aspirants do, they blindly follow any particular teacher or any particular strategy, which is detrimental for their preparation in the longer run. And for that reason, it's very important for you to understand what is strategy and what is approach. Okay, so I will take a couple of seconds to discuss all these things, and I will try to make this video as short as possible. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Uh, yeah, so I've taken the definition directly from Google. So what is strategy? Strategy is a plan of action designed to achieve a long-term and an overall aim. Okay, it's the art of planning and directing overall. So this is another definition. This is not important. So it's taking a plan or an action designed to achieve a long-term gain. Okay. Now this plan is individual plan. This plan is not the overall plan. Okay. So in an overall level, we also make certain strategies, but these strategies are different for the from the strategies we make for the different exam. For the exam, we make individual strategies because suppose you have strength in X subject and I have strength in Y subject. So my strategy will be different and your strategy will be different. Okay. So it's very important for you to understand someone's approach, not someone's strategy. I think now this is clear. Now, let me directly move to the next slide. Yeah. Uh, Let me talk about GS section. Now, types of question asked in the different exams like RRBPO, IBPSPO, and SBIPO. Now, one thing you need to remember that all these questions, I've also taken the questions, 1, 2, 3, I've taken 8 questions. And all the question which I've taken are the question asked in the RRBPO exam. I've not taken any imaginary question from any question branch or for any sources. This all question have been asked in the exam. I've written down the question in some of my notes, and I've taken the question from my notes also, actually. Now, what I've written, before knowing any approach, the first thing which I want you to do is to open your eyes. Now, what I mean by open your eyes, it simply means whenever you are, suppose you are scrolling in Instagram or you are scrolling in Facebook or any other social network platform or you are reading some article, always open your eyes, try to understand what is happening around you. And that is what GA is all about. GA is not about understanding, reading and mugging up all the facts written there in the different PDFs and all, but it's more about uh, understanding your surroundings. Let me give you some certain examples. The first question is asked. So some of the questions are statement based. Okay. And now statement questions are easy to answer if the statements are not data. Okay. If multiple data are given as a statement, then it will be difficult. But if data is not a statement, then it is easy to answer. So I will make a different video and tell you how to approach statement based question as well. So first understand the questions. So the first, the question which was asked in the exam was about PMJDY, a very famous scheme. If you're reading some articles about finance or something anywhere, you will get to see this scheme hundreds and thousands of times. So it's very likely that you know the basic features of the scheme. You don't need to go through any PDF. Just read some newspapers or some articles or this, that, you will get to know about the scheme. So if you have opened your eyes, you could have answered this question. Now, these are full form marks. This is Primary Agriculture Credit Society. So when you're preparing for the RRB exam, these societies are very important. Now, this question, I could say a static question. So a basic knowledge about the classification of different banks and scheduled banks, non-scheduled banks, cooperatives. Uh, uh, if you would have that idea, then it will be very easy question for you. Okay. Now another is a dimensional property statement based. This is another statement based question. Now this a particular thing, multi-dimensional property, also in news, because in a lot of forums, in news channels, in social networking site, in Twitter, this multidimensional poverty has been discussed. Government was talking about this multidimensional poverty and how they have improved in these parameters. They have talked all about this. So if you have opened your eyes, would have opened your eyes, you could have answered this question as well. Now the CEO of Vedanta. Vedanta CEO has his own Instagram account, Anil Agarwal sir, and I actually follow him on Instagram. So I answer this question from that source only. I've never read about it in any PDFs and all. Another is International Year of Millet. Again, a very famous question. So if you just would have followed the Mint Instagram page, and they have written multiple times in 2023, the International Year of Millets. Prime Minister talked about a lot of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha sessions. People discuss about this millets and all. So, and G20. G20 is is the most talked about event. Okay, so and Rajya Sabha chairman, because that was the time of winter season, winter session. In Rajya Sabha, there are 3 sessions, like winter session, budget session, and monsoon session. So that was the time of winter session. So a lot of videos, a lot of clips here and there. You might have seen that Rajya Sabha speaker, which is none other than the Vice President of India, is telling you something, this, that, blah, blah, blah. So if you would have opened your eyes, you could have answered this question. Another is railway cover scheme. So recently there is an accident in later part of 2013 in Balasar, Odisha. Train accident, a very huge train accident. If you would have read 1 or 2 articles about that accident, you must have read about the Kavach. And they have asked Kavach is about what? Okay, so that question was also very easy. So even if you haven't read any source, but you are aware of what is happening around you, you could have answered at least 7 to 8 questions in the exam. At least 7 to 8 questions. And that is double. The cutoff was like something around 3, 4 maybe. And that is double than the cutoff without reading anything. Okay. Now all of you are mostly focused about sources and आप लोग सोच रहे हैं जल्दी से भाई sources बता दें हम लोग निकले. Okay, so मैं sources के बारे में थोड़ा बता देता हूँ. Sources is not important, not very important than all these things which I've discussed. But still, I'm going to tell you a couple of sources which you, if you want, you can follow. Okay, so let me move to the next slide. Okay, now, ignore this. Now, how to read GA? First, you need to read, then you need to revise, and then you need to make a flow chart. It's very important you follow this, these 3 steps, because if you keep reading news, then you will not retain. Retention is the main thing. Okay, so if you can't retain a news, that is no use of it. Okay, if you are reading 100 news and someone is reading 10 news, but he is retaining all 10 news, but he is reading only 5-6 news, what would be beneficial? This will be much more beneficial because he can invest his time in other subjects as well. He has read 100 news, but remember only 5 to 6 news, and he has wasted a lot of time. So read, revise, and make a flowchart. And what I mean by flowchart is to connect events. Connect, like if you have read something about Ministry of the Finance, so another news about Ministry of the Finance, make a separate copy and write all the news about Ministry of the Finance, all the news about Ministry of Urban Affairs, Ministry of this, that. So this is the way you make flowchart. And the more you make flowchart, the more you connect the events, the more you remember. Now, if you read a news about a country, okay, and you read another news of the country, so make all the news about the country now one single page and make a flowchart, then you'll retain more. Okay. And for the sources I have mentioned, Affairs Cloud and Business Awareness from Gaurav Garg sir's video. I personally use Gaurav Garg sir's video for business banking awareness because these videos are very explanatory and very good. Now, I personally feel very good. And if you want, you can use it, but if you don't want, you can't. And Affairs Cloud, you can also use. But in Affairs Cloud, you need to you can use the weekly source. Monthly source is very, monthly video PDFs are very long, and a lot of my monthly videos, monthly PDFs, the news is not well defined. So weekly PDFs, I suggest you to read from Affairs Cloud and Business Banking Awareness of the Gaurav Garg videos. Okay, so I'll not give you any other source because the more source you use, the difficult it will be for you. Okay, use very less source, use as less as possible because it will be more helpful for you. More sources will make it difficult for you. Okay, and those who use multiple sources, most of the time they score less marks in GA. And this is, I can tell you with 100% certainty. Okay, now the last slide is about how many months. Okay, Now, this depends on where you are, because suppose you are someone good at maths, reasoning, English, then you can go for 4 months or 5 months, not go beyond that. Please don't go beyond that. Okay, even if they ask question, 6 months before, then they will ask only one or two questions, and it is not advisable to read the whole month for these one or two questions. So if you are good at all these things, then do. Now, if you are not good at math, reasoning, and English, just go 2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months. That is enough. Focus on all three subjects, and then go and study GA. Okay. Your retention capacity. So your retention capacity is 10, and you are reading 100. What will happen? You will hardly remember 30 to 40. So it also depends on your retention capacity as well. Understand who you are before doing all this stuff. Don't overburden yourself. I have already discussed this point. Don't use multiple sources and recent trends. And this is very important. So I have given all the mains exam, SBI PO, IATS PO, RRB PO, and multiple insurance exam as well. So what I've seen that the recent trend of IBPS is that they're asking question from just 1 or 2 months before the exam. Most of the question, almost 80% question is from 1 or 2 months before the exam. So read last 1 or 2 months very carefully. If you don't have time, just read 1 or 2 months, but read it very diligently. Every single point, remember data and everything, do everything. Okay. So based on details, recent in 2 to 3 months is enough. But if you don't have time, 1 or 2 months is also somewhere good. And if you're good at math, English, and reasoning, then you can go for 4 to 5 months. Don't go beyond 5 months. I will say don't go beyond 4 months. Okay. Read 4 months and read it very diligently. You are good to go. Okay. Thank you for watching the video. I will meet you in the next video. If you have any doubts, you can always write the comment section. I always reply your comments. If you have seen my videos, I have reply most of the comments. Okay. And from your comments, I pick up the video topic. I just don't randomly make a video. Thank you.